The second density strives towards the third density, which is the density of self-consciousness or self-awareness. The first, or red ray density, though attracted towards growth, is not in the proper vibration for those conditions conducive to what you may call the spark of awareness. As the vibratory energies move from red to orange, the vibratory environment is such that to stimulate those chemical substances which lately have been inert to combine in such a fashion that love and light begin the function of growth. The supposition which you had earlier made concerning single-celled entities such as the polymorphous dinoflagellite is correct. The mechanism is one of the attraction of upward spiraling light. There is nothing random about this or any portion of evolution. The second density is the density of the higher plant life and animal life, which exists with the upward drive towards the infinite. These second density beings are of an octave of consciousness, just as you find various orientations of consciousness among the conscious entities of your vibration. There are three types of second density entities which become, shall we say, inspirited. The first is the animal. This is the most predominant. The second is the vegetable, most especially that which you call tree. These entities are capable of giving and receiving enough love to become individualized. The third category is mineral. Occasionally, a certain location, place as you may call it, becomes energized to individuality through the love it receives and gives in the relationship to a third density entity which is in relationship to it. This is the least common transition. Entities do not become inspirited. They become aware of the intelligent energy within each portion, cell, or atom, as you may call it, of its beingness. This awareness is that which is awareness of that already given. From the infinite come all densities. The self-awareness comes from within, given the catalyst of certain experiences, understanding. As we may call this particular energy, the upward spiraling of the cell or atom or consciousness. You may then see that there is an inevitable pull towards the, what you may call, eventual realization of self. The second density is one in which the groundwork is being laid for third density work. In this way, it may be seen that the basic mechanisms of reproduction capulate into a vast potential in third density for service to other self and to self. This being not only by the function of energy transfer, but also by the various services performed due to the close contact of those who are, shall we say, magnetically attracted one to the other. These entities thus having the opportunities for many types of service which would be unavailable to the independent entity. Upon your planetary sphere, those having the first yellow ray experiences are those of animal and vegetable natures, which find the necessity for reproduction by bisexual techniques, or who find it necessary to depend in some way upon other selves for survival and growth.
Do these beings then evolve from second density to third density?
I am raw. This is correct, although no guarantee can be made of the number of cycles it will take an entity to learn the lessons of consciousness of self, which are the prerequisite for transition to third density.
Could you define what you mean by growth?
I am raw. Picture, if you will, the difference between first vibrational mineral, or water life, and the lower second density beings which begin to move about within and upon its being. This movement is the characteristic of second density, the striving towards light and growth. A very simplistic example of second density growth striving towards the light is that of the leaf, striving towards the source of light. The striving takes place through the higher second density forms who are invested by third density beings with an identity to the extent that they become self-aware mind-body complexes, thus becoming mind-body-spirit complexes and entering third density, the first density of consciousness of the spirit. The striving takes place through higher second density forms invested by third density beings. Could you explain what you mean by this? I am raw. Much as you would put on a vestment, so do your third density beings invest or clothe some second density beings with self-awareness. This is often done through the opportunity of what you call pets. It has also been done by various other means of investiture. These include many so-called religious practice complexes, which personify and send love to various natural second density beings in their group form. When Earth was second density, there was not this type of investment as spoken, but the simple third density investment, which is the line of spiraling light, calling distortion upward from density to density. The process takes longer when there is no investment made by incarnate third density beings. Consider the workings of free will as applied to evolution. There are paths that the mind-body complex follows in an attempt to survive, to reproduce, and to seek in its fashion that which is unconsciously felt as the potential for growth. These two arenas, or paths of development, being two among many. In isolated instances, this is so due to efficient perceptions upon the part of entities or species. For the greater part, by far, this is not the case in second density, the spiritual potentials being those of third density. The difference between second and third density bodily forms would in many cases have been more like one to the other. In the case of your planetary sphere, the process was interrupted by those who incarnated here from the planetary sphere you call Mars. They were adjusted by genetic changing, and therefore there was some difference which was of a very noticeable variety, rather than the gradual raising of the bipedal forms upon your second density level to third density level. The second density strives towards the third density, which is the density of self-consciousness or self-awareness.